You see, we have another little problem in our movement, and that problem is that people see certain institutions that have been perverted. Then they look at those institutions and they want to burn them down. So I hear people say, we need to smash the school system, smash the education system, burn it to the ground because it's indoctrinating children. No, no, no. The school system's a great idea to give every child a basic grasp of numeracy and literacy, to give those children a knowledge of their own history, their own culture, their own traditions, and their place in the world, to teach them discipline, to teach them order, and to help them socialize with one another, and to give them additional healthy role models in the form of good, wholesome teachers is an absolutely wonderful thing. But those institutions have been taken, they have been twisted, they have been perverted, and they have been manipulated by the people who wish to destroy us. Now, we need to take those institutions back, and we need to start using those institutions, and this is what we would do in the ethno-state, to ensure that our children grow up with a healthy mindset. Because people talk about these school shootings, they talk about the record number of children who are obese, the record number of children who self-harm, the record number of children with depression. Well, imagine if children went to school and instead of being taught that they should hate their ancestors, that they should hate being white, that they should take pride in being fat, that everyone wins a medal when they cross the line. Imagine if they went to school and healthy eating, healthy living, physical fitness, pride in your ancestors, pride in who you were was being taught. Can you imagine how good those kids would feel? Can you imagine how good they would feel when they achieved genuine greatness, when they actually learned about the great things that their ancestors did? Now, I remember being at school. and I remember running in sports day. And I remember one year I was put into a race. I think it was the 50 meters. And I was expecting to do really, really badly. And I came second. And I was only beaten by one kid, and he'd actually been kept down a year. So it's a little bit unfair, to be honest, that he was in the race, because he was a good few months older than me and should have been in the year above. And the feeling of doing that, the feeling of actually achieving, the feeling of, getting that silver medal, it was great. And I had real pride. And I remember going home absolutely buzzing that day and being like, wow, I did so well. And I only got beat by that kid who, everyone knew he was going to win. He won everything because he was a year older. And I felt really, really great. And I was dead proud of what I'd done. Now imagine going to sports day and everyone lining up and half the kids being fat and out of shape and you all running, some of you waddling over the line, and everyone gets given the same shiny gold medal of achievement. Not only does no one go away feeling good, but no one goes away feeling like they want to improve. No one goes away thinking, next year I'm going to try harder. Next year I'm going to start getting in shape now, and next year I'm going to be even better. I'm going to be even tougher. I'm going to run even faster. No one goes away with any incentive to be better. They go away, it doesn't matter. Everyone's got the gold medal. So it's not precious. It's not precious to get a gold, silver, and a bronze anymore, because everyone gets a medal. So it just gets chucked in a pile of junk, and you go back to sitting on your sofa, playing Xbox and eating pizza. And, then you get your homework out, and it's white guilt, it's self-hatred, it's how did your ancestors oppress the Native Americans? How did your ancestors steal the destiny of Africans? How did your ancestors be mean to all of those people that they dragged across the world as slaves? And you've never achieved anything. You've never done anything. You got a medal for turning up, and it didn't feel like anything. It was nothing. And when you go home and you learn how to hate yourself, yeah, There's some reasons to be fat. There's some reasons to just gorge on junk food, to not do anything, to sit in a darkened room. And then these kids get out the razor blades and they start self-harming, or they do things for attention, because there's no positive feedback loop. There's no positive attention. There's no positive reason to be better. There's no uplifting feeling of winning or achieving or pushing forward or breaking your own personal boundaries. And those were things that school was all about. And I want to take the next generation of young people, and I want them to be better than my generation. I want them to come out of school with a sense of purpose. I want them to be physically fit and healthy. I want the records that my generation set at school to be broken by the next generation, because I want an upward cycle, and I want our people to get better and better and better. I want to see my race improve. And that's why I'd love to be in charge of the education system. And it's not a hard thing. We're not talking about big changes. We're not talking about anything that's particularly radical. We're talking about healthy standards. We're talking about healthy competition. We're talking about healthy role models. And we're talking about teaching our children about pride in their ancestors. We're talking about teaching them real history. We're talking about teaching them their traditions. We're talking about assemblies where they put on shows about their own culture. Now, when I was at school, we had school houses, and those houses were named the Normans, the Romans, the Vikings, and the Saxons. Everything was steeped in a little bit of history. I was actually a Viking at school, just for the record. But, you were one of these groups of people that were dear to our history, that meant something to the development of the European people. And you banded together, you worked as a group, you strived for excellence, so your schoolhouse would win. And you did other things as well, genuinely meaningful things. I remember Harvest Festival. I remember going into the supermarket with my mum, and I remember picking out canned goods and goods that were non-perishable, and we'd make a hamper and we'd decorate it and we'd make it look good, and we'd take it to the Harvest Festival. We'd take it to the Harvest Festival, we'd put it in a big pile, and we'd have a big drive, and that food would go to people who were less fortunate than us. And people might scoff at that, but it was all about community. It was all about being part of something. It was all about giving something back. And all that's been taken away. And instead of Harvest Festival, and instead of assemblies, and instead of the Normans, the Romans, the Vikings, and the Saxons, it's dragging our kids off to a mosque, isn't it? That's what it's all about. It's teaching them that, little Stevie can cut his penis off if he doesn't want to be a boy. It's teaching the fat kid that if he waddles over the line in 30 seconds when every other kid finished in less than 15 seconds, he gets a medal as well. It's teaching everyone that it's not about excellence, it's about mediocrity. And, that's what we want to reverse. Because if any group of people on the planet embody excellence, it's us. And why shouldn't our children know that from their first days in primary school?